जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवर हरि गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवर हरि यशोदानंदन भज जन यशोदानंदन भज जन यशोदा यमोतीरावनचारी राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जन वल्लभा यशोदानंदन भज जन हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण
Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण
Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे
Hare
हरे
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम
Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Jaya Jagannatha Baladeva Jagannatha Jaya Sudarshana
Jaya Sadhu, Jaya
Jaya Gaurangi Jaya Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Jaya Hari Bol Om Shnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Shtotra Sadashri Srimad Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Shtotra Sadashri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर श्री नवद्वीप धाम की जय मथुरा धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय यमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी महारानी की जय समवेत गौरभक्त वृंद की जय गौरभक्त प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome for ISKCON Seshadripuram, a morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we will be discussing third canto, 29th chapter, verse number 17. I will try to share the verse. Give me a minute. Am I audible, Prabhu?
Audible, Prabhu, audible. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Share the screen. So verse number, Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 29th chapter, 17th verse. And the chapter is entitled Explanation of Devotional Service by Lord Kapila. Mahatam bahumanena deenanam anukampaya Maitriya chaivatma tulyeshu yamena niyamena cha. Mahatam bahumanena deenanam anukampaya Maitriya chaivatma tulyeshu yamena niyamena cha. Mahatam bahumane deenanam anukampaya Maitriya chaivatma tulyeshu yamena niyamena cha. Word by word meaning. Mahatam, to the great souls. Bahumanena, with great respect. Deenanam, to the poor. Anukampaya, with compassion. Maitriya, with friendship. Cha, also. Eva, certainly. Atmatulyeshu, to persons who are equals. Yamena, with control of the senses. Niyamena, with regulation. Cha, and translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The pure devotee should execute devotional service by giving the greatest respect to the spiritual master and the acharyas. He should be compassionate to the poor and make friendship with persons who are his equals. But all his activities should be executed under regulation and with control of the senses. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, it is clearly stated that one should execute devotional service and advance on the path of spiritual knowledge by accepting the acharya. Acharyo pasanam. One should worship an acharya, a spiritual master, who knows things as they are. The spiritual master must be in the disciplic succession from Krishna. The predecessors of the spiritual master are his spiritual master, his grand spiritual master, his great-grand spiritual master, and so on, who form the disciplic succession of acharyas. It is recommended herewith that all the acharyas be given the highest respect. It is stated, Gurushu Nara Matihi. Gurushu means on to the acharyas, and Nara Matihi means thinking like a common man. To think of the Vaishnavas, the devotees, as belonging to a particular caste or community, to think of the acharya as ordinary men, or to think of the deity in the temple as being made of stone, wood, or metal is condemned. Niyamena, one should offer the greatest respect to the acharyas according to the standard regulations. A devotee should also be compassionate to the poor. This does not refer to those who are poverty-stricken materially. According to devotional vision, a man is poor if he is not in Krishna consciousness. A man may be very rich materially, but if he is not Krishna conscious, he is considered poor. On the other hand, many acharyas, such as Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, used to live beneath trees every night. Superficially, it appeared that they were poverty-stricken. But from their writings, we can understand that in spiritual life, they were the richest personalities. A devotee shows compassion to those poor souls who are wanting in spiritual knowledge by enlightening them in order to elevate them to Krishna consciousness. That is one of the duties of a devotee. He should also make friendship with persons who are on an equal level with himself or who have the same understanding that he does. For a devotee, there is no point in making friendship with ordinary persons. He should make friendships with other devotees so that by discussing among themselves, they may elevate one another on the path of spiritual understanding. This is called Ishtagoshti. In Bhagavad Gita, there is reference to Bodayantaha Parasparam, discussing among themselves. Generally, pure devotees utilize their valuable time in chanting and discussing various activities of Lord Krishna or Lord Chaitanya amongst themselves. There are innumerable books such as the Puranas, Mahabharata, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and Upanishads, which contain countless subjects for discussing among two devotees or more. Friendship should be cemented between persons with mutual interests and understanding. Such persons are said to be Swajati, of the same caste. The devotee should avoid a person whose character is not fixed in the standard understanding, even though he may be a Vaishnava or a devotee of Krishna. If his character is not correctly representative, then he should be avoided. One should steadily control the senses and the mind and strictly follow the rules and regulations, and he should make friendship with persons of the same standard. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurgunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajeevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrunda Vaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vacha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Itinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaurabhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this verse, as I said, is in the chapter called Kapila's Instructions on Devotional Service. Oh, actually, it's the next one. It is chapter 29, which is Explanation of Devotional Service. Of course, this is also Kapila Dev's instruction to his mother, Devahuti. So the background is Kapila Dev, an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He actually was giving instruction to his mother. So he was trying to liberate his mother, and he was giving these instructions to her. And in the process, there are so many, I don't know, many chapters are there in of Kapila Dev's instruction to his mother. And one of these chapters is this explanation of devotional service. And within that, this verse is very, very important. This verse have been discussed in many ways. I have seen, even recently also Devaki Mataji, when she was here in our temple, she was discussing on how to avoid envy. And actually she was taking the platform as how do we deal with the different categories of devotees. And she had actually taken in relation to that envy, how do we deal with the different class of devotees? And she had actually taken the classification given here. So basically, this is a thing which we need to apply as devotees in our dealings with the many devotees, or not devotees for that matter, with everybody around us. How do we deal? So one of the instructions given, or the main instruction given by Kapila Dev, that if you really want to be a pure devotee, the definition of pure devotee is very many, but one who's actually serious about Krishna consciousness, who's actually taking Krishna consciousness as his main life and soul, right? Someone who's very serious about Krishna consciousness, I can put it at the lowest level, and who's accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is trying to dedicate himself to this process of becoming Krishna conscious. I mean, that starts from there. And one actually is completely dedicated and fully realized all that is, all of them are the highest level of pure devotees. So Prabhupada many times has said, who's a pure devotee? In different definitions he has given. But so now in this context, so we can take it as those who are actually trying to follow Krishna consciousness, right? They are also, in sometimes Prabhupada has said, if you are following a pure devotee, you are also a pure devotee. So so sometimes, we may think, oh, I am not pure devotee. I am not yet come there. Prabhu, it takes many janmas for us to come to that platform. So I have never. That is fine. That is very good. And that is the way we understand ourselves. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sagishnana. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's verse where we say, we should be so humbler than the blade of grass. That way, that in that sense, yes, humility, yes, I am not a devotee. But in another sense, if you really see, then how do we actually then consider that, we can progress? Okay, how do I know whether I have moved forward? Well, if you are actually following a pure devotee, like in our case, we are following Srila Prabhupada, then in that situation, if you are seriously following Prabhupada, then Prabhupada says, those people who are following that pure devotee is also a pure devotee. I've heard this specifically from Prabhupada. So that doesn't mean, okay, they have become very pure and all that. Yeah, but then they are definitely much more advanced than someone who's not even understanding anything about devotional life. Then someone who's understanding devotional life has to be everything everything is God, and I am also God, you are also God. But this one, at least coming to this platform of understanding Vaishnava philosophy, accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and accepting an Acharya in the Vaishnava Parampara and trying to follow their example, that itself is a huge progress. In that sense, those people who are practicing in Krishna consciousness in ISKCON, practically so many of them, literally every one of them can be considered pure devotee in that sense that, they are at least come to the platform of accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is one definition of pure devotee, that, if you accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and dedicate only to Krishna and not to so many other here and there, going there to this God, that God and all that, that itself is a pure devotee. So like this, there are many definitions, but okay, the point here I am trying to dive is, so this applies to all of us who are here in this, 4 of us plus me, 5 of us who are here. I don't know, there may be some 2-3 people sitting in each connection. That's possible. So whichever way we see, that we are can consider that this shloka is also meant to all of us. So that is important, and not say, oh, this is only meant for pure devotees, not for me. Okay. Then the second aspect that we need to understand is, what is this classification that has been given? The classification given here is about the devotees or the people in general are categorized into 3 categories. One is those who are above us in spiritual consciousness, the advancement in Krishna consciousness, and those who are equal to us, and those who are actually below us in terms of the understanding of Krishna consciousness. So these are the 3 categories. That is the definition. And Prabhupada here in this verse, he talks about the acharyas, and the word Prabhupada translates it as acharyas and the spiritual master, like that. And the word used is also Mahatam Bahumanina, Mahatam. And the word in translation, when he writes, he is using the word to the great souls. So Prabhupada, while translating, is also referring to the great souls as the acharyas and the spiritual masters. So whatever it is, we also know there are various spiritual masters, like, there is Shiksha Guru, there is Diksha Guru, there is also, administrative gurus. Like, there are many things like that we have. So we can consider all of these classes as this in this Mahatam category. That means the seniors. Then there are these equals. That means Prabhupada is very nicely defining those who are having common thinking like us. So that can be a definition for who is an equal person to us. And then there are those who are poor. The last word is used, poor. Dinanam, that is the word. Dinanam anukampaya. Anukampaya. Dinanam anukampaya. Dina means who are, this English translation given, Prabhupada's translation, word to word translation, is given as to the poor. Then Dina is also weak people, right? Sometimes it's referred to as weak people. So, and Prabhupada is giving this definition. It is not when you say poor, that doesn't mean poor refers to people who are materially poor, who does not have money. So that is not the definition of Dina here, because we are talking Srimad Bhagavatam, where the starting point itself is directly addressing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It has got nothing to do with the material aspects of our society. So this is talking about the spiritual aspect, not even the Karma Kanda. Bhagavatam starts directly with Bhakti Yoga, not with even the Jnana Yoga, the Karma, all that, or the Karma Kanda. Like, the many of the Vedic things are related to Karma Kanda. But here it is directly coming to pure devotional service, right from the first verse itself. So now, in that kind of a text, you can't be thinking about material poor here. It is about spiritual poor. So that Prabhupada is explaining in that. So that is the third category of people. And even amongst devotees, how do you, there are other many devotees who can be actually devotee also, but we may, how do we consider them as equal or higher or lower, or do we, now that cricket is happening, they say well left, right? When a ball is bowled and then, the batsman does not touch that ball, that's called a well left. So sometimes even in devotee circle, Prabhupada is talking about this well left. Sometimes we may not be able to relate to a particular type of that. We will discuss that. Then better don't have any much interaction with such people. Leave them alone. So that is also being discussed here. So how do you deal with different people? That is being discussed. And he is also giving hints of, when you are talking about equals, what do you discuss? How do you discuss? Those things have also been touched upon by Prabhupada. So now let's try to understand each one of them a little more deeper according to the ability that I can relate to from what I have heard, what I have seen, my own realization. So the first one is about how do we deal with the senior devotees or the acharyas. First thing, let's talk about directly the Acharya. So Acharya in our context is Srila Prabhupada, right? How do we look at Srila Prabhupada? So we should understand Prabhupada should not be looked up as some kind of a great, he was also a Grahastha like me, he was in the pharmacy, he was doing this, that, he was trying to set up his business and, he failed 3 times. This is not the way we understand Srila Prabhupada. We understand that Srila Prabhupada is a direct associate of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is one of the most empowered personalities who has been sent by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to come to this material world to spread the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is there very clearly. We have also references are there where said, I will send my Senapati Bhakta to propagate this message of Harinama Sankirtan all over the world. This Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said 500 years back, 530 odd years, I think, somewhere in that period of time. And he said that, and people were wondering how come that it will happen. It's okay if West Bengal is actually becoming full Krishna conscious, we can understand. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was speaking this, people could relate only to a smaller level. Okay, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is here and his disciples, whoever, they may do in West Bengal. How can we talk about the whole world becoming Krishna conscious? But then, after 500 years, that Senapati Bhakta did come and he did take the name of Harinam to every nook and corner of the world. And today, if you see, it has actually become a household name. I have seen in some Western, this one saying that this Hare Krishna is a household name in newspapers. So it's not like we are putting chapa for ourselves. It is given by other normal people who are not devotees. Normal means non-devotees, and I'm saying in that sense.
Not that when we say we are abnormal people, right? I'm saying normal means those people who are not actually Krishna conscious, but they are common people. But they are able to say that, this Hare Krishna is a household name. I've seen some interviews in TV and things like that and all that. At least, when Prabhupada was there, it was a household name kind of thing. People knew about Hare Krishna, the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. So that is the position of Srila Prabhupada. There was once Prabhupada. So we may think, Prabhupada, was also struggled. He was, why he, if he was so powerful at the beginning, he later gained all this power, but why he was so powerful, why he didn't do in the beginning only, why he was struggling in India. So many thoughts comes to our head. There was once one devotee asked Prabhupada, why you got, why it took you so much time to come here? Right? Why were you delaying, kind of a thing? And Prabhupada spontaneously responded, no, you were late. I mean, how do you understand this statement? See, Prabhupada spent some X number of years, 12 years or whatever in Vrindavan. He took sannyas and he was there in Vrindavan. And then he comes around 69, 70-year-old, he started his journey. But here he is saying, no, you are late. How will you understand this? America, he came, and immediately as soon as he came, within 1 year's time, everybody has actually become devotee and the movement has started gathering momentum. But then how do you say Prabhupada is saying you are late when someone is asking him why you are late, right? So that we need to understand. So this is all, and I mean, we have to relate all these things in a very finer manner. How do we understand from various devotees of Prabhupada's disciples? How do they see these things and all that? Actually, if you see, there are other occasions where Prabhupada said, you were all sent by Krishna. I asked for one moon, but Krishna has sent me many moons. Prabhupada asked for help for spreading this Krishna consciousness he prayed to Krishna that you send me one moon. That means Prabhupada said, right, what is the use of so many stars? One moon is good enough. That means one powerful person who can actually help me, not any Tom, Dick and Harry. There are so many men there. Who cares? And how can they contribute? But there are some people who are very powerful who can actually really help Srila Prabhupada. So he says, I asked for one moon and Krishna sent many moon. So now you can relate this back to what Prabhupada said, you are late. So many times Prabhupada has also said, many of his disciples, they were all like, demigods, or, they were all from the higher planetary systems or from, the spiritual world itself. That means Prabhupada wanted that, Krishna wanted that Prabhupada do this, spread this message all over the world. That is the context. It is not simply writing 2 books or 3 books, right? Today, so many authors write one book and then they are all over the internet saying, oh, one book, what a great book. This is a bestseller. So many things people say. But here, Prabhupada has not come after 70 years to write one small book, right? He's written how many books? You can't, mind-boggling. We cannot even think about all that. That is the position of what Prabhupada has done. And that cannot be taken so simply or as a material achievement. And therefore, to propagate that, the kind of people who come, like, if someone comes within 1 year from a foreign land and become at 17 or 18-year-old and become his disciple, and he becomes a Sanskrit reader. And can you imagine these things? Like, here there are, in India, there are so many, how many years it takes for someone to become a Sanskrit scholar and then do a proofreading and write the text and all that. I have seen those videos. If you all get some of these old videos, you should see really, we really understand. Some of our generation who are not exposed to Prabhupada's time, right? We take things very easily. Oh, ISKCON, okay, fine. But if you really see those times, I have seen truckloads of books being printed and sent. And, the truckload is what you see in these highways, which has got like 14 wheels and 15 wheels like that from BBT in, wherever in US. The printing press, I've seen those videos, how they are just printing day and night, and how they have a board. First, Prabhupada, he writes, he speaks, it is then, the tape recorder, it is done. And then from there, how it is transmitted, how it goes into a post box, and from there, how it gets into another place, how that process starts. And then they put one by, like, as one on an activity goes, there's a big list of next item, what, like that. And then in that calendar, they keep on putting the pins to say, okay, this activity is completed. amazing it was, looking like it's in a different world. We just see this book here, oh, this book, okay, we just printed like that. But in those initial days, to proofread in Sanskrit and all and that too done by Western devotees who are just 17 to 20 years, mind-boggling. And these people were empowered. That's why I'm saying. So they are not ordinary boys and girls who just came and, they were drug addicts or, hippies. And then, they just came to Prabhupada and then they became devotees. And, by fluke, everybody became devotees all over the world. No. This is all the plan of the Supreme Lord, and Prabhupada completely knew it. So it's not like, oh, suddenly at 70 he got the realization. So these things have to happen. So he was waiting for these devotees to come from wherever they were. So it took time, and therefore Prabhupada is pointing out, you were late. So like this, there are many amazing things. So Prabhupada's position as Acharya is not debatable. We cannot take, oh, Prabhupada said it. I've seen people say, oh, Prabhupada said it because he didn't know. He didn't know, he heard someone speak, and therefore you use that in the class. No, Prabhupada cannot be taken like that. Then we cannot respect Prabhupada the way we should respect Prabhupada, because whatever Prabhupada says will become true. We may think, okay, this is, Prabhupada said because he didn't know, he heard somewhere some fellow was talking and then Prabhupada said it. Doesn't matter. Okay, let it be materially, let it be that is not correct. But Prabhupada has said it, it will happen. Because there are so many references like this which are there. A pure devotee, whatever he says, Krishna will make it happen. There are examples like this. Prabhupada, when he went to Australia, first time he went, I was seeing one Mataji, she was being second initiated. And they didn't know what is initiation, what is thread, right? The sacred thread. So someone showed her a thread, you go and bring it. She went to different shops and then tried to get as close as possible a thread like that. And she made that thread like that. And said, now you will be given second initiation. She didn't know what is first initiation only, but where is the question of second initiation? So it all happened. Prabhupada gave initiation. This is first time Prabhupada is visiting Australia. And then it was all messy. She's narrating, like, we didn't know, used to right hand or left hand, that level of consciousness there. I mean, you can't blame them, right? Some country where he has no idea of Krishna consciousness or anything for Indian culture, nothing. Suddenly, because they're slightly inspired by Prabhupada, they've heard, they've think, and then they've not even seen Prabhupada, but they have become devotees a few months there, they are there, then Prabhupada personally comes there. He says, I just sent a ticket because it is etiquette to call your spiritual master. He didn't believe that Prabhupada is expected to come. But then Prabhupada wrote back saying that I am coming. Then they were all shocked. Oh, Prabhupada say he is coming, and how can we be prepared? But they didn't know anything when he landed. But again, so he gave them second initiation and left. Then 1 year later, when Prabhupada comes, everything has transformed. These Brahmanas have become perfect Brahmanas. Those he gave second initiation, they became perfect. And then they were actually feeling, no, Prabhupada, when you came last time, we didn't even know what. Then Prabhupada told them, no, I know that your situation is this. I pray to, he says, the deity name in Australia, the temple. And he says, I pray to him that, you please make these devotees, train them to give correct service to you. I prayed like that to the deities. And then the Lord has actually given you all that. From within, so Prabhupada is leaving them. So from within, you please instruct them how they should serve you, like that. He had prayed to Krishna, and that has become true. So those devotees have become perfect Brahmanas. Just in 1 year's time, they have understood. And, if you and I, we see many people who come, they are inspired for 1 class, 2 class, they come. We are trying to preach, right? And then after that, they come and also acknowledge, wow, that was very nice, very interesting. I will come very regularly and all that. But you see, 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the line, they vanish. But here, Prabhupada was not even there. He just came, met them once, and then he left. But these people stuck there, and then they become perfected Brahmanas. So just imagine. So if you have to think at it, how can this happen? Because Prabhupada had prayed and asked Krishna, Krishna made that come true. Therefore, pure devotee's words cannot be taken for, he is just like another ordinary sentence of Prabhupada. No, every word Prabhupada has written is very potent. So that is how Acharya is. Now I will come off to the thing, because we can go on talking about Prabhupada. So now Acharya, so now when you are talking about your spiritual master, the same thing, it's not about, okay, Prabhupada, I will give respect, but the spiritual master is one step below. No. Yes, we all know that in one sense, nobody can become equivalent to Prabhupada. That is there. Theoretically, knowledge is there. But when it comes to our spiritual master, he is also directly representing Krishna. Right? You know, Sakshat Haridvena Samasta Shastra. There is no difference between the spiritual master and the Hari. So that mood we should have. And Prabhupada, the Prabhupada, or for that matter, the spiritual master should also be considered at the equal level of the Hari, And how we respect and receive our spiritual master, how do we talk to him, how do we hear him, everything should be in the transcendental plane, not on the material plane, not looking at his, okay, he's a white-bodied devotee, he's a black-bodied devotee, or he's not very, very good in the Sanskrit, or those kind of, or he cannot give exotic examples like how some YouTube devotees who are preaching, wow, what a class they give. But, my spiritual master is not as exotic as, these devotees. So we keep quoting those devotees everywhere we go. No, your spiritual master is like Hari. So that we should be very clear. So that is very important. And then comes the next category of, okay, senior devotees, right? The Siksha Guru and, so many other devotees are there. There also we should know how should the etiquette of dealing with those devotees. Sometimes, the Siksha Guru is very, very friendly with us, right? Because your spiritual master, you don't see him every day. You see him once in a while. But as Siksha Guru is generally who deals with us day in and day out, is there, he comes to our home and then we sit and we eat with them. And there are so many times we have some meetings, we have discussions. So many things happens. Then we sometimes take that for granted. And we also sometimes get into deep arguments on philosophy and so many things with our Siksha Guru and all that. Actually, those things should also be avoided. Siksha Guru, or for that matter, any other senior person, we should respect them as their seniority. It's not about my winning an argument, right? There are two things. One is winning an argument. The other one is about the Vaishnava etiquette of respecting and honoring a senior Vaishnava. I will give one example to this. There was, I think, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, I think. He had one disciple. It's Rupa Goswami and Jiva Goswami. So Jiva Goswami was Rupa Goswami's disciple. And Sanatana Goswami actually introduced him to Rupa Goswami and says, you please train him, and he'll be a disciple like that. So the Jiva Goswami comes under him. So there was once Rupa Goswami was writing a book. I don't know, I think whether it's Nectar of Devotion. Okay, he was writing one of those books. And then there was one other Sri Vaishnava devotee comes, and then they both are discussing. And at some point in time, that other devotee, Sri Vaishnava devotee, finds some fault in what Rupa Goswami has written. So the Rupa Goswami said, okay, he just simply accepts it. But this Jiva Goswami, he cannot stand that, that this Vaishnava devotee, Sri Vaishnava devotee has actually found fault with the spiritual master's writing. And then he is internally feeling very bad. But then, okay, after that discussion, but Rupa Goswami does not say anything. He simply says, Hare Krishna, yes, ji, like that he says, and he leaves it at that. Then he says, okay, I will go take bath. This Vaishnava, the Sri Vaishnava devotee says, I will now go take bath and come back. I said, okay. Then this Jiva Goswami says, I will also go with him. So he goes there. And on the way, he brings this topic and said, you found fault with my spiritual master's this writing. And then he says, yes, that statement was not correct, something like that. Then he actually gets into an argument and defeats that Vaishnava, that Sri Vaishnava devotee, that his thinking, what he was thinking was wrong, and where Rupa Goswami was coming from and how you should understand this verse. And that devotee actually felt, wow, this is correct. And then he says, oh, I made a mistake. I committed a mistake to Rupa Goswami, like that he says. But later, when Jiva Goswami comes in front of Rupa Goswami banishes him. He says, what, you think you are very intelligent? You think you have won an argument with that Sri Vaishnav? No, this is your audacity. He's such a senior Vaishnav. You should not have picked up an argument for the sake of defeating him and proving that we are great. That is not the mood of a great devotee. So he put him down immediately. And in fact, he banished him. He said, I don't want to see your face. Please get out. So these are extreme examples. But from these, what do we understand, right? We need to understand how do we need to be mindful with seniors. Not that, I know better, I can argue better, I can win things better. Of course, administratively, sometimes we may have these conflicts. But we need to know how to deal with it in a Vaishnava way rather than thinking, I am great, I know better. So this is all very important when we deal with senior devotees, not that, we take that for granted. So not just with Siksha Guru, anyone who's senior. So then the question is, whose senior comes, right? So I have seen this definition, who's a senior. One is one who is initiated or who has taken up to Krishna consciousness much when they took versus when we took to Krishna consciousness. That is one thing. But you can take that date as initiation, could be one easier way because that is officially there. Other things we don't know. Okay. Then, if that is there, then what else can be considered as seniority? The next one could be age, right? That the person is 70-year-old and I am a 30-year-old man. But I may be giving many classes, I may be doing so many things. But that devotee is 70-year-old and he's a Vaishnava. Then when I am in front of him, I need to be mindful that this devotee is a senior. Maybe that person is not someone who gives a very big class somewhere, or he's not one of the popular persons in the temple, right? Either not in any of the important posts in the temple. But we should always know that this person is a senior devotee than me. Simply because of even the age, and he's a Krishna conscious Vaishnava. Those things are there. The third one is, it is possible that he may have taken initiation later than me, but it is also possible that he is younger than me or maybe my age. But then if he is very advanced than me in Krishna consciousness, then that becomes the other aspect. And that means then I need to respect him. He may be younger than me, but do I think, because I am older than him, therefore I am senior? No. But he is advanced in Krishna consciousness. Then how do we understand this advancedness, this Krishna consciousness? Normally, superficially, when some devotee is in a senior position, we think they are advanced. Or someone is doing some important services in the temple, we think he or she is very advanced. Or he gives nice classes, he's advanced. So our definition of what is advanced is sometimes limited to some so-called designation, right? That so-and-so is president, or so-and-so is vice president, or so-and-so is head of this yatra, or so-and-so is, gives wonderful classes, he is very famous everywhere. All these things they are also seniors, definitely. But then there are seniors who actually have really progressed in Krishna consciousness, but they are maybe not good in giving a class. Maybe they are not good in any services per se, but then their level of advancement is so high that these are very sensitive things we should be able to see around to be able to realize. Sometimes we see when such a devotee is walking, we just look straight and walk. We don't, okay, that person may be simply washing something in the kitchen, but how he has dedicated himself to doing that service is something amazing. I would never be able to do that. I should think myself, am I capable of doing what he's doing? Then I should feel, wow, this guy is so advanced. This devotee, I should just fall at his feet. Not that we can keep falling at everyone's feet when we see in the temple, right? That's not what I'm saying. But in our mind, do we actually realize and give that respect to this gentleman, the devotee? Do we respect him well? And if we get a chance to interact with that person, do we show that respect? That is important. Krishna consciousness is more inward. It is not external, right? Okay, I wear a nice tilak, I wear a nice Vaishnava dress. I may also do my sadhana. All that is nice. But beyond all that is daily transformation, daily reformation. How do I do? How do I do? How do I do? We need to be looking at that aspect. Then we can become more and more developed in Krishna consciousness. So that is something which is in terms of a seniors. Time is running out. So I will come to our own, what do you call, the equals. So when you say equals, there are else it's difficult, right? Sometimes, we deal with them. So how do you define a equal? Instead, like friends. So how do you define okay, first you need to find out who's an equal. So Prabhupada here has given one nice example that their thinking is similar to our thinking. Okay, thinking is we are all Krishna conscious thinking that is there. But more we are able to relate to them in our normal day-to-day understanding of things. How do we do things? So those kind of things, if you are relating to them nicely, and you are able to share some, and they are able to share some, like here, Prabhupada, when you discuss a point, and then when you discuss that point, you yes, you're right. When you feel like that, saying many times to a person, then you can relate they are equal. And they are also able to talk to you like that. So with such persons, our relationship should be a friendship. And friendship means here you should be able to exchange, right? Exchange, share our concerns, share our some challenges that we face, and they should be able to share their challenges. That is on an equal plane. And you will find times Prabhupada exhibit this very times. So Prabhupada, when he is with his disciples, he will be grave, he will be whatever like that. But then when his God brothers come, you will see Prabhupada become very cheerful, and then they talk and laugh, and so many things which happens between them. They exchange prasadam, and they discuss about something happened 3 years back, 5 years back, 15 years back. They recall that, and they happily discuss like that. That time he's not taking the position of I am guru or whatever, right? He takes the position of we both are God brothers, we are right. So that you can see in Prabhupada's dealings, how he deals with that, like that. So there is more exchanges. They confide. Prabhupada has confided sometimes about some things to some other God brothers. There's a confidence, I'm going through these difficulties in the moment. Can you help with these thoughts? Those kind of things discussions can happen with such people. So we can also relate to people like that within our own circles to see how we can develop those bondages within Krishna consciousness, because it's important that in Krishna consciousness we have this nice hold, right? Otherwise we may slip and fall. So we should develop nice relationships across that. We are always safe and secure in devotee association. Sometimes something is nagging in my head, I don't know where to discuss. Then a good devotee friend who does not oh, you are like that, not like that, they should be able to think. They should immediately be, oh, you see this, yes, I can understand. And not immediately go, hey, Vidura Madhava had this problem, and he discussed this with me. I know, not that kind of person is not a true friend. But one who can understand, okay, without judging Vidura Madhava, but Vidura Madhava shared this with them, and then he can actually come and give some solution, give some tips how to deal with it, and not hold this against me later. Oh, yeah, Vidura Madhava had this problem, so he's still in that thing. Not like that. That way we cannot think. Someone who can relate like that, we can take comfortably at our own level of thinking. And he will also confide in some things like that. I have this problem here. How do I deal with it? That kind of thing, if you are able to strike a relationship with someone, then that person's become our equal in that sense, where we can share and relate. So this is about the second category. And the third category, of course, is those who are poor means not materially, as I said. Those people who are actually below us in their understanding of Krishna consciousness, the people whom you are preaching to, in one sense, and to the other people who are just visitors to wherever your services are there. You see so many people coming for first time to the temple. We don't know, they may also be advanced in so many ways, but first time they may be coming to ISKCON. But we need to understand. But if they tend to be the lower realization of Krishna consciousness than us, then they can be considered as our junior. And here we should be compassionate. Not that, I am your boss, therefore, I will tell you what you should do. Not like that, not in that mode. But compassionate to understand where they are coming from. So they may argue with us, and I can't take this, I am senior, you don't know what you are talking, whom you are talking to. No. Sometimes you may have to go down to their level and then be able to explain things to them. But that all, the root word there is compassion. So whatever you do is with compassion, not with that authority of, I am the boss kind of mindset. That should be there with this one. And then there are also these common people, right? As devotees in the material world, in current modern world, where many of us may be working outside, not full-time devotees. And you may have to deal with commoners, like, many people, external people, and, they keep judging you, right? And so how do you deal with them? So it's important, we should be able to strike some balance. So I read, one of the classes I was hearing, my spiritual master is Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj. So he was saying, with those people, you should be like a gentleman. Gentleman is in a very, very materialistic kind of a thing, right? But a devotee should at least be like a gentleman to them, because they can't relate to your Krishna consciousness, at least at this point in time. But at least they should be getting an impression that, oh, these are gentlemen, these Krishna conscious persons. They may not be like very much aligned to us in so many things that we do, but they are gentlemen or gentlewomen, right? That mood we should be able to create in their mind. This is a big statement if you really see. Then how do they perceive you as a gentleman? That is important. So how do you talk? So some people say, no, I won't talk to any these non-devotees, it's then I will be corrupt, all that, this, then why are you working in the corporate world? Don't work then in the corporate world. So we can't have the cake and eat it too, right? There is some kind of a balance. Then what do you do in that situation? Then one thing you can do is, so you can relate to them on the current affairs in some form and shape, and try to bring those in the context of, like, in Bhagavad Gita, there is this 11th chapter, pious and the demoniac and godly and demoniac kind of a characters are there. So you can relate them back to how to upgrade their consciousness, not maybe fully Krishna consciousness, but at least in some level of consciousness about, for example, like you can talk about some current things in terms of how environmentally things are damaging, how rivers are getting things, how animals are getting. So these at a higher level, if you are able to talk and be like, put up your points across and not completely avoid them, then in a way you are actually preaching to them, but in a subtler manner. And of course, when you get a chance, as they become more interested, then you can pull them into your counseling system, into your Bhakti Vriksha system or whatever, and take it up. But we should be able to relate and deal with these people also, and don't think it's a waste of time. Can we elevate their consciousness and prepare the ground for giving Krishna consciousness to them? So first is at their level, stoop down. Like I heard my spiritual master speak many times in an airport or somewhere. Like if we see our spiritual masters, we are like, we are so much stunned. We can't even speak one word in front of them. We feel ecstatic. We feel so respectful and all that. But some person flying in the airways, he will have the fortune to sit right next to your spiritual master in the flight. And he has no idea about what ISKCON is, what this gentleman sitting next to him is. Like, is literally a representative of God. But they don't realize that. They just simply say, hey, hello, how are you? That kind of a conversation. And like I heard Jayapataka Maharaj, just speak to them like that only. Not that, oh, I am a great spiritual master. I have 50,000 disciples. They all wait for my remnants. No. But that is a fact, right? We all, if we get a little bit of a remnant of our spiritual master, we are so grateful. But he can't be giving that to them, saying that, I'm such a great fellow. No, you sit down under the seat, under my leg. Not like that. They just casually strike a conversation with them. And Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj has said many times that person will talk for half an hour, 1 hour, telling about his greatness. That means that person will say, no, I am this, I am that, I have done this. So he will simply be listening, not telling, no, I am, you first shut up. You know who I am so and so. Like that, they don't talk. They listen very nicely to all that person. And then they complete, yeah, I am also in an ISKCON, this is my job. Do you chant? Like that. He said, do you chant Hare Krishna? Please chant. It is very nice. It gives you a lot of nice feelings. You please chant. So he makes them to chant. That way he listens to them nicely, so that that person becomes very favorable. Then he tells them, you please chant Hare Krishna. That way. So you can see, how do you deal with people below us? They may not be at the level, they won't come and start discussing Bhagavatam with us. But can you strike a chord with them that they are able to appreciate who you are, at least as a gentleman, and then slowly able to preach to them Krishna consciousness? That way we can look at the whole thing. People who are not Krishna conscious, juniors, but who are not Krishna conscious, that way. So there are different things. This is a big history. This is a very big topic. You can have a one-day full seminar. We can do role play. So many things we can do in these things. But whatever, at least whatever Prabhupada has written on the purport, I have tried to touch most of them. And of course, all of these things should be done with the proper understanding and regulations, right? So how to treat an acharya, it is there. The prescribed methods are there. We follow that. It's not whimsically that we follow, right? We don't imagine things. Oh no, sometimes we imagine so many things and then don't do that. what is authorized, what is to be done as per the GBC guidelines. Those things we should follow. Not that we whimsically follow something and say, oh, this is Krishna, and I will do these things to, the spiritual master. No. What is allowed to be done to the spiritual master in terms of our giving him the respect like Krishna, that is there. It is not like we need to find out newly or speculate something. Do it based on what is already there in the regulations given in the scriptures. So that is important. I think I have touched everything. Now I will stop here. If there are any questions for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, we can discuss. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Nice, Prabhu. Actually, whatever that you said about Prabhupada transformed that second initiation devotees in Australia within a 1 year, that point I just found in more appealing, and you given the tips with respect to how to deal with this spiritual master and senior Vaishnavas and those who are at equal levels. So those things we need to apply in practical life. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the summary. Hare Krishna. Okay. So if there are no further questions, we will conclude. Thank you, Revatinandan Prabhu. Thanks for the opportunity to take on this serving on this particular verse to all the devotees. Looking forward to more interaction with all you wonderful devotees. Ratra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. We can conclude now with all your permission. Hare Krishna.